Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. Ed Policy, our man, the president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers, sat down and wrote his monthly column over at Packers.com. And he dropped a line in there that has me spinning around this living room like a man who just found a $20 bill in a coat he has not worn since March. He said, and I am reading this directly, there is a true alternate uniform in the works. Not a rumor, not a leak from some guy on social media who talks to a guy who talks to a guy. The man who runs this organization, in writing, confirming that the NFC North is next up in the NFL's rivalries uniform program. And I will tell you right now, Pack Nation, this is either going to be one of the greatest things to happen to this franchise's visual identity in 30 years, or it is going to start a war in Wisconsin that makes the sausage versus cheese debate look like a handshake at a church picnic. I am not exaggerating. You know what this kind of announcement reminds me of? You know those old hardware stores, the ones that have been in the town for 60, 70 years? Same wooden floors, same smell when you walk through the door, same guy behind the counter who already knows what you need before you open your mouth. And then one day, the next generation takes over, and they repaint the whole interior. New shelving, new logo on the window. Half the customers walk in and go, "Oh, this is great, clean and fresh, I love it." And the other half walks straight back out the door and drives 40 minutes to the next county to find the store that still smells like oil and sawdust. That is what a uniform announcement does to a fan base. You are never going to win everybody. The old heads are going to have words no matter what you put on that field. Stay with me here, because what Policy said next is the part I cannot get out of my head. He said this alternate is going to, quoting again, celebrate owners and emphasize our uniqueness. Celebrate owners. Do you understand what that means? Pack Nation, the Green Bay Packers are the only publicly owned franchise in professional football. Every other team in this league belongs to a billionaire. We have 185,000 shareholders. We have people in Marinette and Menasha and Kiwani who literally own a piece of this football team. That is not a marketing tagline. That has no equivalent anywhere in American professional sports. So if this uniform is going to honor that, if it is going to put the community ownership story into the fabric of what these men wear on game day, I am completely, 100%, all the way in before I have seen a single stitch of the thing. Now, history lesson, because I want you to have the full picture. Going back to the 1990s, this franchise has cycled through alternates like a man trying on boots he cannot afford. White and navy with the big yellow stripe. Those were what they were. Then, in the Aaron Rodgers era, they brought out the navy blue kit with the yellow circle around the number. Brown helmets, brown pants, and I will be straight with you. When I first saw those, I had feelings. Loud feelings. I expressed those feelings in my own living room at 11 o'clock on a weeknight to an audience of approximately no one. My wife walked through the room, looked at me yelling at a football jersey on a laptop screen, looked at me for about 1 full second, and just kept walking. No comment, no expression, just continued on to wherever she was going. And I will tell you honestly, I respect that restraint more than I can properly put into words. Early 2020s, we got the classic uniform, all green with gold details, inspired by the 1950s. Pack Nation, those were beautiful. Those were earned. Every thread had the weight of history behind it. They ran through 2024. Then last year, 2025, the 1923 Classic arrived. Navy blue, early franchise history stitched into the design. Took me a minute with those. I will not pretend otherwise, but they grew on me. The all-whites are still in the rotation too. White jersey, white pants, white helmet. Clean, simple, no complaints. So now, what comes next?
Policy said the NFC North is up this year for the rivalries uniform package. All 4 teams, the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, all of them. Sit with that for a second. The Chicago Bears are getting a rivalries alternate uniform. Good for them. I genuinely hope it looks like every other thing that organization has produced in the last 4 decades. Slightly more promising than you expected, somehow still a disappointment when it actually counts. But for U.S., for Green Bay, this is not just a uniform. This is a statement. And policy handled us the exact word, uniqueness. There is not a franchise in this league with a story like ours. Over 100 years in a city that by every modern business calculation should not have an NFL team. 185,000 shareholders spread across this country. No billionaire, no threat of relocation, just a community that decided in 1919 this team was theirs and has never once loosened its grip. You want to put that on a jersey? Then I need you to do it right. Am I nervous? Honestly, a little. And here is why. You know the rivers up here in northern Wisconsin in early spring? The ones that look completely calm from the bank, surface barely moving, looks harmless, looks like you could step right across. Underneath that surface, they are running fast and cold. And if you plant your foot wrong, you are going in. And there is no graceful version of that. You are just soaked to the knee, one boot gone, standing in the current, trying to figure out what you missed. That is what a uniform redesign is for a franchise with this much history. Most of the time, you read it right. You cross clean. Everybody nods and says, nice work. But if you drift too far from what this organization actually is, if you chase something flashy and forget what makes this team different from every other team in this league, you end up standing in cold water trying to explain yourself to 185,000 shareholders who are not interested in your explanation. Are you hearing me? I am not saying do not do it. I am saying do it like you know who you are. Do it like you understand that the Green Bay Packers are not the Cowboys. We are not a fashion brand. We are not a West Coast franchise trying to manufacture an identity. We are a community. We have always been a community. And any alternate uniform that walks out of that building better carry that weight, or I will have words, loud words, on this program for as long as it takes. Now, policy said more details are coming in the coming months, so we wait. And I am telling you right now, when those uniforms are revealed, when Nike and this organization show the world what they have been working on, this show is going to be the first place you hear my completely unhinged, probably too loud, definitely going too long reaction to every single design choice on that jersey. I will break down the trim color like it is a third down coverage scheme. I will have opinions about the number font that I have not remotely earned. I will say something in the first 30 seconds that I will spend the next 3 days walking back, because that is what this show is, Pack Nation. I did not become Peshtigo's loudest Packers voice by sitting quietly and keeping things proportional. That has never once been my approach, and I see no reason to start now. So here is what you do. You follow this show. You subscribe to Let Me Tell You Something right now on the Packernet Podcast Network. You leave a 5-star review. Do not leave me a 4. I cannot handle it. And you tell somebody, tell a coworker, tell your neighbor, tell the Bears fan in your life, especially that jabroni, and let him know what it looks like when a franchise with over 100 years of real, earned, community-built history decides to put something on their backs. We have been here since 1919, and we are not going anywhere. Big Sal, out.